I went up to these random people, and if I saw they had a cool outfit on or something about their energy was giving unique, then I would just approach them and be like, hey, I'm a photographer. Can I take a photo of you? And most times people said yes, but there were a few times when I got yelled at. I didn't do anything wrong. It's not like I was just going up to their face and taking photos, but they, for some reason, were very offended that this 18-year-old kid was coming up, which is nothing wrong with asking.
Welcome to Before We Cheers. I'm Zach Miller, and today I'm talking with Zusha Goldin. He is a portrait photographer who built his career by walking up to strangers in New York and asking to photograph them, and turned that into working with names like Ben Stiller, Selena Gomez, and Sweeney, just to name a few. He grew up in Crown Heights in Brooklyn in a Chabad family, went through the yeshiva system, and left that path as a teenager to build something completely on his own. And we're going to talk about how that actually happened and what it looked like in real life. Great to have you, man.
Thank you, Zach. What a beautiful intro.
Oh, please. The pleasure's all mine. But your story's incredible. I'm really happy you're here. I haven't seen you in a few months. Last time we got together at a coffee shop in Brooklyn, and I had reached out to you because I was really fascinated even then with what you were doing. I knew that you were a hustler. I knew that you had come from this place to go and chase your dreams. So that's something that I was always attracted to.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I recall when we first met.
It was pouring rain.
And I don't remember if I had an umbrella.
You chose the coffee shop we were going to, and you got lost at the one of that coffee shop.
Yes, that is true.
It was like Fort Greene area or something like that. I can't remember.
It was in Park Slope area in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah. It was actually a really nice coffee shop.
And growing up in Crown Heights, did you feel like that was more of a hub where you stayed most of the time and you didn't necessarily explore too many other neighborhoods in Brooklyn? Or was it more just, we're around Fort Greene, we're around this, we're around that, and it's a different time, but you would hit all these different neighborhoods constantly? Yeah.
So I was born and raised in Crown Heights, and so I lived there full time. But I do recall I would go a lot to Atlantic Mall. That's right near Barclays Center. I remember when Barclays Center was built, I was blown away. I was like, it's the coolest thing.
So was I, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt new. It felt like Brooklyn was changing. I think a lot of people were probably against it because it's this big corporate entity in the middle of Brooklyn. They were getting their own basketball team, you know, because the Nets used to be in New Jersey and now they're in Brooklyn. But it felt like something else that Brooklyn could call theirs. And I think that was super important.
I agree. I would go there a lot because it was right near my house, and I would go with my older sisters. I have 5. So they would take me from time to time. We'd hang out in the mall, and then...
You said you have 5 older sisters.
I have 10 older siblings. I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest of 11 siblings.
Yeah.
So how old is the oldest of your 10 siblings?
I believe he's 43 or 44.
It's hard to keep track.
Math was never my strong suit.
You're more of a visual learner. I am. Math was, believe me, it was never my strong suit. I never took calculus.
Oh, is that a joke?
No, I'm dead serious. I never took calculus. I took pre-calc my senior year of high school. Yeah.
Oh, I think we're in different levels. Like when I say I'm not good at math, I don't know basics.
Okay.
Yeah. Like calculus, that's like very far advanced.
But back to you. Let's talk about how you basically started this. So when you started, you were walking up to strangers before you had subjects that were agreeing to shoot with you in Washington Square Park, which is funny because now if you walk through Washington Square Park, half of them are NYU kids, half of them are influencers, and probably the other half, see, I'm bad at math. The other half are NYU kids who are trying to be influencers, who are, you know, putting little mics in your face, asking you questions about your sex life or something.
Yeah.
So what did you actually say to these people that you wanted to be your subjects?
So back when I was doing that, there was no one there like that. It was just the park. I went up to these random people, and if I saw they had a cool outfit on or something about their energy was giving unique, then I would just approach them and be like, hey, I'm a photographer. Can I take a photo of you? And most times people said yes, but there were a few times when I got yelled at. I didn't do anything wrong. It's not like I was just going up to their face and taking photos, but they, for some reason, were very offended that this 18-year-old kid was coming up, which is nothing wrong with asking. But yeah, nowadays it's like, I was actually just there yesterday, and a different world. I don't know if it's better or worse. I don't know. I'm not going to be one of those New Yorkers that are like, oh, you're ruining the whole... I'm like, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
I don't think you're ruining anything necessarily, but I do know that now, like I was touching on before, it does feel like it was always a hub for NYU. So it's no surprise that you have so much of that going on.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's right there. It's a beautiful park, but
it is.
But yeah, it taught me a lot. But going up to these strangers, it taught me a lot, like even social skills wise, just to, because it's very daunting to approach a random person to get rejected. But that builds up that resilience.
Yeah. Were you afraid of getting rejection, or were you afraid of their reaction specifically?
What's the difference?
It's one thing to hear the word no. It's another when people will scowl at you and like tell you to go fuck yourself and like all these things. Or what's my good side? Or they're too nervous because they don't think that they're like photogenic.
That happened as well. But now that you make me think about it, I think I was more afraid of the reaction. For some reason, hearing no, it didn't really faze me so much.
Yeah. Do you think it was because you were in Washington Square Park and you didn't know what someone would say, or just because you were asking someone in general?
I think in general, because I was in other parts of the city and I got other reactions as well.
Yeah.
I think like, you can never know. The thing about New York that it's so incredible is that there's so many different walks of life everywhere, everything all at once. And it's just wild. And so it's beautiful and it's amazing, but you also are going to deal with a lot of very interesting folk, to say the least.
Yeah, interesting is one word for it.
You have all types of people and every person's unique and different. And yeah, some people will yell at you. So
keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
But it toughens you up.
Yeah. No one ever told me that I'm not a New Yorker.
If you were going to go back and do that now, if you were going to go back into the park and just ask someone, do you approach it differently? Are you going to choose different words, or are you just more confident and you're like, people are either going to say yes or no? And in the age of social media and social capital, they'll probably be more flattered than not.
Good question. I think I would probably approach it the same, but have more confidence.
Yeah.
I definitely would walk up to people with a bit of self-imposed restraint.
Yeah.
From fear of what they might say.
Yeah.
And how they're going to react. Whereas now I'd be like, okay, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Are you down? I'll send it to you. If not, no worries. Next. Like, I don't really care.
If you had an associate with you who would act like a bodyguard, if someone was physical with you, would you feel a little better about asking people?
Always. But yeah. I don't think, it never ever got anything physical. I feel like for it to get physical, unless someone's like just batshit crazy, you would just read the room. Like, you read people's energy, and if it's getting intense, just, okay, I'm out.
So when did this feel like less of a hobby and more of, this is my business, this is how I'm going to treat it as a business? Was there ever a transition there, or was it always, no, this is exactly what I'm going to do and I'm going to act as such and this is who I am and go with God?
I wish I can say I always knew.
Yeah.
And I guess a part of me always knew, but I do know that when I was like 7 years old, my siblings had these tiny little cannon point and shoots. Crap, but they did the job.
Oh, I had them too. They were great. Yeah.
They were great, right?
Yeah.
And so I would run around with them and just taking photos of the trees. They were heinous shots, but I loved it. And so I always had a very big affinity for photography and just capturing the still life. And when I was around 17, I had that kind of fork in the road where I'm like, okay, am I going to go the traditional route of graduating, getting my high school diploma, going to college, or maybe not even going to college, but just going into a more job? Or am I going to go and do what I feel really passionate about and what I've always loved? I would do skits and plays and shoot on my little tiny camera with my friends back in, I don't remember, but when I was like 13, 14, 15, 16, I've always wanted to do that. I was not happy with where I was in school, so I finished it. I didn't get my high school diploma. I took a few regents, I passed, but then I'm like, okay, I don't care. I'm not going to college. And my sister, she really put me on. She swiped her credit card for me to get my first camera.
Wow.
Because there was no money for anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, she believed in me. She didn't, no holds barred. She was like, okay, let's go to B&H. We're getting you a camera. So we go to B&H. We're speaking with the people. And okay, what do you want? What do you need? And of course, I wanted the best. So I got my first ever camera for professional use was the Sony a6000. And it's a tiny little mirrorless crop sensor. It did the job. I got some really awesome shots on it. And then from there, I slowly built up. But she really always believed in me and took a chance. And she didn't have any money at all. She did that so I can build.
We call that an angel investor.
I guess so.
Basically. So you were on track in the yeshiva system in the Chabad community in Crown Heights Can we define specifically what yeshiva means and what Chabad
Yes.
means?
Yes. Okay, so yeshiva essentially is a learning institute for religious Jews,
Yeah.
for Orthodox Jews, right? And it's not separated by gender or anything. The yeshiva, it's for everyone, but for obviously teenagers where you're studying mostly Judaic and Hebrew studies, but there's also a few hours every day where you're discussing, learning, studying all the regular topics. It's like a hybrid. Chabad is a Orthodox religious denomination, like a sect. They do a lot of really great, it's called kiruv, a lot of outreach for Jews all around the world, right? So for example, let's say you're going to Thailand and you get in trouble, or you need help with something, or you need a Shabbat meal or kosher food or something. There's 5,000 Chabad Orthodox rabbis in every major city, and not even major city, tiny little towns around the world, that their goal there is to just help other people and other Jews with whatever they might need. Like, and it's not just exclusive to Jews. Chabad houses all around the world. They always help with disaster relief if there's ever something happening, or God forbid any sort of horrible situations. A lot of people, they always really help out a lot and stuff. So I grew up in that neighborhood in Crown Heights, Chabad neighborhood.
Got it. For most people you knew that you grew up with, even outside of your family, what's the track? What were you brought up and raised to do? Where was that going to go?
The trajectory is, okay, so you're born and raised in that system.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I have my grievance, but it's very beautiful and it's very meaningful. And I'm very fortunate and blessed that I was born and raised in that. But the trajectory is, you go to school, you go through yeshiva, you go to either study to become a rabbi, or you go and study to become, it's called a shliach, which means a messenger, to go be one of those Chabad rabbis around the world. And then the third option is to just go into business or whatever career you want. Now that's probably a lot more mainstream. 9 years ago when I was deciding, it was still a little more like, those are the two traditional paths.
Yeah, it was like a 2-track mind, basically.
Yeah.
There wasn't room for much else.
Yeah. You weren't forced, but that was what was
expected.
That was what you did.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you told me that you had stepped away from that and that you had a conversation with your parents about stepping away to go and pursue your dreams. What did they say to you?
You know what's interesting? They said, do it.
Yeah.
As long as you're being productive.
Okay.
They were not okay with me just doing nothing with my life, or just sitting around and just.
I don't think anyone's parents are happy with people just sitting around doing nothing with their lives, so that's understandable.
It is, but I've heard stories. Some parents either just apathetic, they don't care. But my parents are like, the only thing that they cared about mainly was that I'm gonna do something with my life. I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna create. I'm going to be successful. That's what they cared about. Yeah. And so I didn't really have that much hesitation on their end, or I'm not sure
they weren't trying to guilt you out of it or anything.
Yeah, no. That. But they also knew that I always loved it. They saw it growing up. So it wasn't like it was like a random, oh my God, what the hell is he doing? Yeah. But yeah, I haven't thought about this in a long time. Like when I started, what was the reception? Yeah. Yeah.
So you leave, you go to LA with whatever money you had in your pocket. This is a very classic story. Like nothing, basically. Yeah, exactly. Even more classic. Classic story. You had nothing in your pocket, and you get there. You're like, I'm here. I'm going to pursue my dream. And then years later, your life changes again, right? Then you find yourself in Israel. You're in Jerusalem. It's October 7th. What happened that morning of October 7th when you woke up? Do you remember?
Yes, I was just thinking about this because for a long time I would just brush it away as, oh, it's not traumatic, it's not anything, it's whatever. Yeah. But it is. I want to go back one slight step because it's going to make this even more impactful, I think. Yeah. When I moved to LA, I was hell-bent on finding success, doing photography and working within the entertainment industry and creating art in the biggest production, the biggest scale possible, right? And I've had a lot of major success. I'm very fortunate and I've worked really hard for it, but I've been very blessed. And that was what I was so zoned in and focused on. And then when I was there for a holiday, which was like the happiest day on the Jewish calendar, I was partying with my friends till 5:30 a.m. We were hanging out, drinking, having a blast. And 7:30 a.m. I wake up to Sirens, and my friend I was staying in his parents' home there, and he comes in and he starts, saying there's missiles. And I'm from New York and I live in LA, and I'm like, also mind you, I'm completely drunk.
Yeah.
Completely and hungover at this
on
point.
no sleep.
On no
someone
sleep.
says there are missiles coming.
And you hear these ominous sirens.
Yeah.
And I remember literally these are the words I told him. I said, no, the fuck there's not.
Yeah.
There's no missiles. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he's no. So
that's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah. So the family that I'm staying with, they're religious, right? So when I was there, I wasn't using my phone really. There's on the holidays and like Sabbath, in religious households, you're not supposed to use your phone and whatnot. Out of respect, etc., I wasn't using it, right?
Yeah.
But after, okay, this is random, that these missiles coming and whatnot. So I go on my phone to see what's going on. So I look and I see suddenly headlines, which funnily enough, Al Jazeera is the only, to my knowledge, that as I was looking had live updates. I'm talking like 20 people breached the border, 30, 60, live.
Wow.
And I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, how do they know that?
Yeah.
That's another conversation. So I remember being like, oh my God, this is terrifying. I remember watching videos from what was happening an hour away, seeing 3,000 terrorists breach the border, and then they're inland and no one knows where they are. Also, mind you, the entire time there's sirens, there's rockets, there's missiles, you hear loud booms from the Iron Dome, right? The Iron Dome is an interceptor, which if there's a missile coming, it stops it. I remember just being like, we're very privileged here in the West, in America. We've never experienced things like this. We don't really know what it even means, right? So
on home ground since, at least not from domestic terrorist attacks, since 9/11.
It was in disbelief. And then 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, and it was constant. There were missiles. I remember I was in the shower at one point. It calmed down for a few hours, and I was in the shower. And then my friends banging on the door. There's a missile coming. So I literally jumped out. I put on my pants backwards and I ran straight there. I actually have it on video. I posted that. You best believe I posted that on my Instagram.
Wow. Did you run into a shelter?
Yeah, shelter.
Okay.
And
near your friend's house or under your friend's house?
Had it in their house.
Oh, they had it in their house. So there was a latch somewhere in their house, a heavy door.
Yeah. Every post 2012 or 10, every home is mandated to have a shelter in your home. You have to have a room that has a door this thick in order to ensure that, and it has to be like, if a direct hit happens, you're gone. But if it doesn't directly hit, then you'll be fine. Yeah. And I just remember like seeing that and experiencing that. And I remember like when I was escaping to the airport, because I was supposed to go back the day after, and my flight got canceled, and the next flight out was like a week later or something that it was open. I remember I was so terrified. At this point, they still didn't get rid of all the terrorists in the country. So there's still thousands of terrorists still inside that no one knew where they were. So I was terrified of being on the open road, because at the time also people can go and you're on the highway and they'll just come and spray the car and all sorts of stuff. I never wanted to admit it, but especially because I don't even live there, and there's the whole country of 9 million people from every walk of life who they also live there, and they're experiencing that now as well. And I'm like, why am I going to say any traumatic? But actually it was. I
think you're allowed to say it was.
Yeah, it was. I was jumping from noises every time I heard a noise, I would jump. Yeah. I couldn't do work for a month after. Yeah. It was really hard. And then you see people who've never even been to the region having a lot of opinions, and it's like, I don't get it.
I remember feeling very emotional that day on October 7th, 2023. I went to a friend's house because, frankly, I didn't know what to do with myself all the way in New York, which is the second biggest Jewish population in the world behind Israel. So there was a huge ripple effect, without question, that day that changed everything.
For sure.
So what did you, after a month of not really working, when did you decide to put together this next campaign?
So when I was in Israel, I photographed some random girls in the Shuk, which is like a marketplace, and I posted it as a reel on my Instagram, and immediately I received hundreds of comments. I always experienced hate comments. Yeah. Previously, I always received comments, and I've experienced Jew hatred, etc. But that reel was like the first. Every single comment, outside of a few, were like, Hitler didn't finish the job. Warm up the ovens. Yeah. I'm going to rip you apart and tear your limbs, and like all sorts of these things, the direct messages. And so when I got back to the States, I was so frozen that I just couldn't do any work. I didn't know how to continue. So then I came up with the idea of, okay, how am I going to combine my career and my photography and my art with, I have to take a stand. It's not about politics. It's human. I have to.
You were there. You saw it happen.
Yeah. And then also coming back right after and seeing the entire world in every major city, so many people who were not only either denying it, but saying, oh, you deserved it. You deserved that to happen. Because mind you, I'm an American, right? I was there for 2 weeks visiting. I could have easily have gone to the Nova.
Yeah. There was a music festival.
My friends, their friends died. I could have easily been there. It's a music festival. Yeah. I didn't. And people would have been celebrating that. I just had to take a stand. So I came up with I started with one exhibit.
What was it called?
I called it Artists Against Antisemitism. And my goal of this was to take public figures. I had Tiffany Haddish, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
No one anyone knows.
No, yeah. A lot of really great people. The concept was a studio environment, black backdrop, the printed out comment, and just their face. It's not anything so creative and crazy. It's very simple, but it's very impactful. And just their face, that you recognize their face in the comment. That's in your face. This is what Jewish youth are experiencing on social media. No matter your last name, how you dress, anti-Zionist, whatever it is, this is what you're experiencing. And so they stood up and they did that. And I partnered with an organization called Jews Talk Justice and Shani Sousa, who they funded it and they helped put that together. And it was really successful. And it was I had a lot of people post it on their social medias and then nominate others, and it became a challenge. And then my next exhibit happened right after that. I just got to working on something called Comments for Peace. This was my sequel.
Okay.
And this one was like, I was so focused on combating the hate that I was like, you know what? I want to spread peace. I want to have coexistence. I want to have unity.
Yeah.
So this one I did entirely by myself. I launched my own nonprofit called Artists for Unity. And that was in New York. And
launched that.
I launched that, yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So from A to Z, I did the pre-production. I edited all the comments. I had to gather all the talent. The amount of rejection I faced, I probably emailed hundreds of publicists asking them for their talent. And I've had A-listers, A-list celebrities who in and then out, in and out. I booked a studio and a makeup artist, and the same day that we were going to shoot, I got a message being like, I was advised against this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you didn't have to go back and forth 3 times. You could have just.
They're worried about public perception at them because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even though this was a peace project, this had Muslims, Christians, and Jews all holding up signs for coexistence and unity. It's not a bad statement.
Yeah, which at its core is exactly what we've all been supporting for a very long time.
Exactly.
Even prior to October 7th and all that, you've seen all those coexist stickers on cars and stuff like that. This isn't a new message.
It's not a new message.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess because it was I guess at that point I was a Jewish activist, which come on, I'm not really I've never ever spoken bad against another group of people. I've always been like, no, I want peace. I want that coexistence. That's always been what I wanted. But I'm also not going to let you trample on my people. That's not going to happen.
Totally.
That's just because
So who was the first person to agree to be a part of it?
So I went back to the first individuals who were part of the first ones.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to start with what you have, right?
Yeah.
So I went back with them. I shot prototypes. I shot Emmanuel Shrieky from Entourage.
Yeah.
I shot James Maslow, Big Time Rush. And then I shot Jennifer Goodwin, legendary. That, I think right after is when I got Sharon Osbourne. I went to her house.
Like the Osbourne's house?
The
like
Osbourne
one from the show?
I think so.
I think, yeah. Because it's on the market now, which is crazy.
Yeah. It must have been that.
Yeah.
And my friend Eliza and Tracy, they set that up for me. I'm very thankful. But I actually met Ozzy that day.
What was that like?
Surreal.
I've heard Ozzy Osbourne is what was the sweetest human being.
Really nice.
Yeah.
He wasn't obviously doing the best at that point.
Yeah.
But very kind, very nice. Sharon, truly so kind. Their dog's adorable. I had a really great experience, and I'm so thankful
that 10 dogs.
Yeah, all different sizes.
They're like a petting zoo, just running around that.
Yeah, they're really cute. And Sharon was so supportive. She left channels open, and I'm so proud of her. She really, and everyone who stood up and standing up and whatnot. It's not easy. It's so easy to go the other route. It's so easy to just be like, not my problem, or
not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah, or it's because it's also really scary.
It's scary.
So scary
Yeah.
because you understand how it is now. It's so terrifying. But then again, it's not political. It's not. And that's what I've been standing on. I've been standing on that it's not political because I never made it political. Then I had to raise $30,000 or $40,000 by myself. And I had to set up the entire thing here down in Lower Manhattan. I produced the event. From A to Z, I did the whole thing. And I'm very thankful. I have some of my siblings and friends who were able to be helpful, but more or less I was doing the whole thing. And then from there, I brought it on campus to Columbia University. And then at Nelly's List event in Art Basel. And there I had a Muslim man from Saudi Arabia. He loved it. He came up to me. This is so impactful. Thank you for doing this. This is really meaningful to me. And that's when it hit me that, okay, it was worth it. And to fight so hard, to face so much rejection. I can't even tell you how much rejection. It's so hard. And I'm sorry to all the publicists who I've badgered.
Listen,
that's how you get results.
It's their job.
Don't self-reject. And it is their job. Yeah, it is their job.
Do you actually think that all that rejection toughened you up a little bit more? Not even about the subject matter of what you were shooting, but just in general, when you receive that much rejection and then you're moving forward anyway with something, no matter what does that do to you for your sense of self and how you approach work now?
It's a really good question. Here's the thing. I started off by DMing a lot. I would DM every single celebrity. I would write a message. I had a script like, hi, my name is Zusha Goldin. I'm an 18-year-old portrait photographer trying to break into the industry. I would love to shoot with you. Would you be interested? I sent that to everyone whose work I appreciated. And I would watch a ton of movies. I'd watch a slew of TV shows. And I'd be like, your work is so cool. And I would go and I would DM them. I have worked with a lot of really big celebrities who I have shown them the DM that I sent them. And they're like, oh my God, that's crazy. You manifested it. I'm like, was it manifestation or was it just hard work and not giving up and grit and perseverance and luck?
So we do a cheers at the end, and I call this show Before We Cheers, mostly because when I was in college and I'd had a few drinks already, I loved cheersing. One, because it just meant you could take another sip. Two, because it felt truly like a meditation. What do I mean by a meditation? It makes you a little more present and aware and grateful of where we are and who we're with. So when I put this podcast together, which was only just a few months later, I was like, I think this is it. I think this is what I want to be putting out there and the message I want to put out there every single time. And for you, man, you've come such a long way. You've really hustled the hell out of this. And now, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the go-to celebrity photographer for Deadline Hollywood, essentially.
So first of all, thank you.
Yeah.
So I freelance, but I'm very blessed and I'll toast to that.
Before we cheers, who is the hero of yours that you got to shoot where you were just like,
hero of mine?
Wow, fuck, I made it. I'm like,
that's a good question.
You could pick more than one.
Okay. I haven't shot her yet, but she follows me. Lana Del Rey.
Oh, yeah.
We met. Should I share my Lana story?
Yes.
Okay, I'll share my Lana story.
Absolutely.
First of all, I think she's a songwriter of our generation.
I think so
she's
too.
A living legend. That's pun intended from one of her songs. And I was in Larchmont Village in LA, and I'm in the CVS there with my friend Mendel. He's in the bathroom, and he's also a mega fan. So I'm there, and I see her, and I'm like, no way. No way. I don't get starstruck. Lana Del Rey, come on. So I text him. I'm like, you need to get out of the bathroom because Lana is here.
Get your ass off the toilet. Honeymoon's here.
Exactly.
She's outside.
She's outside. He didn't believe me. And I'm like, she's here. So I'm like, I'm not waiting around for no one. Okay. When you see something, you go. So I go up to her and I introduce myself and we get to talking. Somehow the topic turned to Judaism. She said that she loves Jews and she has spent a lot of time with Hasidic Jews and she's really positive.
She was in Brooklyn for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has a lot of positive connotations and she was just so sweet. And I'm very thankful because I probably would be so crestfallen if she would have not. But from everything that I know about her, she's really nice. And we got to talking and we had a really good conversation. We spoke probably for at least a good 10 or even 20 minutes, like for a while.
It's wild.
Yeah. I was telling her about how much her work impacted my life and how much I really, in my teenage years, really had a lot of depression. And it was her and Game of Thrones that helped me get through it. If you are a person that's on this earth and you're here for a reason, then your soul's mission is to make the world a better place and contribute and make an impact. And she did that and she's doing that. And that's really powerful. And it comes from Kabbalah and from Jewish mysticism, like Tanya and stuff. It's like, we're all here for a reason. That's our soul's purpose, to make an impact. And you save one person, you save the world. That's what it teaches and stuff. And I was like telling her this stuff and she loved it. And I'm like, my friend Menachem Silverstein, he's a writer, comic, very talented. He hosts these incredible Shabbat dinners every Friday night. So down to earth. Him and his wife Razel, they cook, they do everything from scratch, like sourdough from scratch. And he always has the titans of Hollywood there. He has all the biggest, the best actors and directors and everyone. So I was like, and they're genuine. It's not like those, it's different types of crowds.
Yeah.
So I invited her. I was like, would you like to come for a Shabbat meal? She's absolutely. She gives me her phone. She says, what's your Instagram? I want to connect. She followed me and then it never materialized yet, but you never know.
Shabbat's on the books with Lana Del Rey at some point.
Yeah. I never got to shoot her yet, but one day I will. And she's amazing. But I met and photographed Samuel L. Jackson. That was cool. That was really cool.
The bad motherfucker himself.
Yeah. Selena Gomez her energy shifted the whole room. It was very cool. People have a lot to say about Sydney Sweeney now.
Yeah.
But she was so down to earth. So nice. Who else did I photographed? Austin Butler was very cool. Obviously, Ben Stiller. Incredible. Bryan Cranston. Should I say my Bryan Cranston? How much time do we have?
Tell me about Walter White.
When we first met, he was not so interested. Even though we were both there for press purposes, I had to goad him into it. I had to follow up with him and stuff, and he did not want to really shoot. Till this day, it's his go-to photo, my photo I took of him, for all his press. Well, not all, but like uses it all the time. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, with him specifically, if I had literally a few seconds with him to shoot this, what can I do shooting an editorial? It's so good. It's such a good photo. I think you've seen it.
I have.
It's phenomenal.
It is a great photo.
Yeah, and his energy and everything. It's just really, he was really powerful.
I would say then, fill in the blank here. Before we cheers, I cannot wait to
photograph my third exhibit that I'm working on. I cannot wait to shoot one day a magazine cover. That's been a goal of mine. I've also written, it's a first draft, it's pretty bad, but a pilot about some interesting stuff. And then I have some ideas for some horror movies, which are really interesting, I think. I just need to write them. But I'm working on so many things. My problem is I have so many things that I want to do and that I'm trying to do, that because I'm trying to do everything, it's like you have to focus.
Yeah, but you know what? You're determined.
I'm very determined.
And we see these things through. We manifest them, as you say. Yeah. And I would say cheers to that.
Cheers.
And I'm thrilled you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zach.
This is awesome. Your energy, your story.
Thank you.
Man. Can't wait.
Thank you.